So without further ado, I'll introduce Mickey. So Mickey used to work for JLL, now works for CBRE, and he's the DCS Global Operations Director, leading the digitisation and digitalisation of the business, including all service line capability growth and the implementation of the technology stack, driving both service excellence and customer satisfaction. And Mickey's presentation is fantastic. So without further ado, Mickey, I invite you to the stage.
Thank you. In truth, we were hoping for more, because we're going to take 30 seconds of your time. Half the 72, but yours was obviously something that took life. I want to put a bit of life into you. Who likes music? Really? Some people don't like music. What's wrong with you? So for our 30 seconds, we'll major the 30 seconds. Who bought music recently? Did you buy it physically? Old boy. I'd put my hand up. Vinyl? Vinyl. The vinyl process has a number of friction points, but they deliver an experience. For everyone else, how do you engage with your music? Who streams? And then let's take a quick poll. How do we stream? Who uses Apple? Oh, you modernist. Who uses Amazon? And then we'll hit the nail on the head. Who uses Spotify? Oh, it's always the younger ones. 30 seconds for Spotify. Why is that relevant? You don't know, do you? You don't pay if you disregard the experience in less than 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a magic number. It's an engagement number. It's a convenience number. Hopefully we're all readers. Great book I will recommend to you is Tarzan Economics. It's written by a chap called Will Page. Will Page is an interesting character because he's an economist, and he's a behavioural economist. The importance of behaviour, I think, is already one of the threads we're going to take from the golden thread, because the behaviours drive what we do as humans, and humans are the most important part of the digital twin experience. Do you know what? I think Bola's already said I can throw a dozen calculators at you that are really good, but nothing changes if people don't change. Will Page changed the world of music, which is strange because he was a town planner from Edinburgh. And as much as he did economics around money, his real passion was around behavioural economics. And he met a chap called Avicii. Those people that don't know Avicii single-handedly changed the music industry, because he saw a line on the walls of Capitol Records that said, "Please don't bore us, get us to the chorus." Hence the 30 seconds, because that's what I now need to do with the workforce of many, many people and my clients and my supply chain. And the way we can not bore them is give them a digital experience with useful information that allows them to decide and act in that magic 30 seconds. Will Page, quite a young guy. If you get any chance to interact with him, he wrote this book called Tarzan Economics that gives us 8 headlines of digital pivot. The digital pivot lessons are something you'll find in Invocara subconsciously, but all of them will align to what Bola is going to achieve before 2050. And I'll give you some in a minute why I'm confident we will make 2050, and with CBRE, what we're doing together to the built environment across design, build, operate, and maintain. I'm the Global Operations Director for CBRE. We're a big company, and I get to interact with a lot of people, both clients, the direct workforce, and about 500,000 supply chain personnel. So therefore, we see ourselves in a strong position to have a voice about how digital twins are affecting positively how we move forward as a species, definitely how we're affecting how we interact with the built environment. No, it's all right, just takes a second. So even though it's about operate to excel, what I'm going to talk about is how we compete for convenience. And to meet that convenience, we've used digital twin techniques. This isn't an advert for CBRE. But by telling you the scale of the operation and the scale of the operation I sit across, it gives you the idea why the information we have is really relevant. And that relevance is about people. CBRE is a people business. We trade on the excellence of the people that deliver service to a huge amount of clients, and this huge amount of clients in turn have a huge amount of consumers that come through their buildings. Every type of building in the world we interact with. So while we trade at 27.7 billion, or we did last year, we're probably going to do over $30 billion worth of trade. It takes about 110,000 people to operate our business. The business is broken into three components: the real estate investment, that's kind of our banking function; our A&T, that's the estate agents, no disrespect to the estate agents who may be online; and then the core part that I work across, which is global workplace solutions, where we deliver services into the business. There's about 68,000 people in my organisation that make things happen. Now, in truth, if we look at the scale of task and what they do day to day, they're probably doing the work of about 50,000 people. But we can't do that work for 50,000 people because we have processes that demand paper, and we have a set of behaviours globally that hold us into a set of processes from the 1970s. Now, the big challenge I've got is, of those 68,000 people, about 40% are over the age of 50. Obviously not like me, as Bola said, I'm the young man from CBRE. I'll take that. That's the only compliment I'll get today. Now, because 40% are over 50, they are slowing down. They are looking for a different style of work that's not so much shift-based, that's not the same 8 hours a day. Another portion of that are getting to 55 and starting to retire. And therefore, I've got an outflow problem that I'm not able to replenish. If nobody was to leave, the scale of the built environment growing, I need at least 3% of new staff coming into the business every year. The best I can hope for globally is 1%. As everybody starts to leave and slow down, I end up with a huge deficit that I cannot fill with other human beings. So there are a number of things that we have to do with our workforce and with the built environment to ensure we can continue to trade and continue to meet growth targets that are put upon us by our shareholders, because we have a responsibility to our shareholders. For that, we digitise. But we digitise with personnel at the heart of everything we do. To be able to meet those needs, we've got to think outside the box. What we do know is time is our most valuable commodity. If I put somebody on the road for 7 hours a day, I need them to be doing 5 jobs closed and billable. Those 5 jobs have to have value to my occupier or to my landlord. Otherwise, I'm not going to pay the bill, but in turn, they need to be able to pass that experience on to the consumer of their space. So wasting time is not an option. I haven't got it. I haven't got enough people to waste time. So we need to do some calculations to work out what needs to be done and when. Now, the first phase was BIM. Now, did BIM get the traction? Did it get the traction? No, it didn't. You all know BIM didn't get the traction for a number of reasons. One of them is cost. It's a CapEx challenge. Another one is education. I need the client to understand what we're doing. I need a whole workforce to understand what we're doing. And I need a supply chain to be able to interact with that. And I need a whole range of experts that can provide that calculator. There is also another challenge. BIM is building information management. But the general consensus by the contractor is it's modelling. And there is a problem with models. Oh, it didn't work. Did say it should work before. I've got a quote from PE about thinking outside the box. PE box said, all models are wrong, some are useful. And I think for the last 30 years, most of the models been put out there have not been useful enough. Within BIM, we have a mathematical approximation of what we think something's going to do. It's mainly focused on the design build phase. As we come into the operation maintain phase, it's not dynamic, because it is not a model that's based on behavior. It's based on a static set of mathematical calculations. So that is why ultimately it hasn't been able to change operations. Now we've got an Invocara, there are a number of other really incredible twins on the market. To be able to use them, we need to prove it's not just a mild approximation. Hence the line, is it a twin or is it just a passing family resemblance? As we look to introduce these into operations, they have to be behavioural, because they have to keep up with us making a decision that informs a human being to do something that will make the situation better, and does it in a way that improves my efficiency and my productivity. That's been pretty tricky, because up until COVID, trying to encourage contracts to take that on and change the way we work has been impossible, because everybody's always got used to doing the way we've done things. In the UK, that's SFG 20. It says on this day, go and do this thing with a wrench, and that's what I'll pay for, because that's how procurement procures our services. However, when you had to work from home, when buildings had to be put into hibernation, all of a sudden the ability to live monitor, make new decisions and change the way you interacted hit resonance. And because of that, we're really springboarding forwards now, because our landlords and occupiers found out they could save money, they could save energy, and the people who were delivering those services found out they got a richer experience, a digital experience that kept them informed and meant they were going to get it right first time when they turned up on site with the right part in their hand, and it meant they were productive and they went home feeling much more valued than what they'd done 5, 6, 7 years before. So what we've done is we've moved the business forward, is we have modelled on convenience. Now, has anybody served in the military at all? Worked in aviation or the maritime environment? So you're probably used to this, maybe in another world. So the OODA loop. The shorter you make the cycle, the more successful you will be. Because even if you make a mistake, you will observe there's a mistake, you will correct, you will decide, you will act. If anybody looks at the operating model for Amazon, they use this. They ask their staff to take information, make a decision and act. Act quickly, but do something. Do it frugally and sensibly. And that's why their business has been so successful. They base everything they do on data, so it's a nice model to look at. The military live by the OODA loop, because again, you must decide and act. You want the decision to be correct, and for that, you must be informed with the most appropriate information as quickly as possible. When I started, I asked you about music. Does anybody know what the optimum OODA loop time is? Come on, it's interactive. Somebody shout out a time. It's not 76. 30 seconds. I mean, are you a plant? You've done well so far. It would be, in an ideal world, if we can inform and act, 30 seconds within the built environment is the ideal. So with something like Invocara, the action may be turn it up, turn it down, turn it on, turn it off. I don't need a human for that. I need a number of systems that are integrated, that are going to interoperate against a framework that we've talked about that allows us to consistently deliver a set of service with information that's transparent to the client that they believe. And with that comes this need for transparency about what we're measuring and why, what we're doing and why, when we're doing it, and what was the impact. So the way we construct this is with a set of digital twins. So Claire's over the moon, that the imagery you can see in the top corner is from the Invocara product. That then needs to give us orientation. So either with Invocara or a number of the products we've got, we put that through predictive analytic that's got my ROI curves, it's already got access to a data library, plus the behaviors of my workforce that then forces a decision. And the decision may be automatic, but all that automatic decision needs to be seen. The product you can see down on the bottom is a product we use in CBRE called CERM, Critical Environment Risk Management, and that feeds live to management all the way to an operative. CERM has been born out of the data center business, but it also we use in life sciences, and we're going to start pushing the product into regular maintenance. And then at the front end is a product that we've, it's kind of in-house working with a couple of software houses called Quantum Glass. It's a single pane of glass experience. The client gets it, the management get it, our workers get it, and the next stage is all our supply chain will be able to interoperate off it. But coming to Bola's point, this is the thread that all the information is accessible with a good UI through one place. Everybody sees the same information, so it is one version of the truth. That is the biggest issue in the way that most of the companies like ours operate. It's giving everybody one version of the truth, and therefore it helps substantiate the decisions we make. At some point, we will make the wrong decision because we are working on the best information at hand. We will then correct that, and the twin will learn. And that's why it has to be a behavioural twin that drives the change to the way we operate and allows us to grow. Now, hopefully this is going to run. Tech man at the back's not looking too confident. But this is what we've just pushed out into our business because we're taking data center first, but we're going to take it into the LFM market. We're also going to take it into our enterprise account for the way the business is built. So by 2024, everybody will be operating off one core way of working with one set of common tools. No, it didn't. I will have to drop to the video in a second. Actually, we'll do the video at the end anyway. Ultimately, these are the 6 lessons learned. These are the 6 components of convenience that have allowed us to move our business forwards. We have to reduce friction. For that, we model where there is friction for our clients, for our management, for our operatives, and we remove it with digitization. But with that comes training. We need to train the brain to change our behaviors. And then we need to make that information available so people can make their own decisions and interact with it. For that, we need to make that interaction easy. We can see that with Uber, we can see it with Amazon. They've really focused on that UX so that we ask for the limit of information, the very limited information people need to be able to operate. This is the biggest bit in the built environment. You probably all agree. As we sell the solutions in, we need to sell them as OpEx, not CapEx. So that first line on Bowler's graph showed $sign at the top. We focused on removing it. So we introduce it to the cost of our service and we spread it over the life of the service. Because the value we can add, it means that we work on extending those relationships and keeps us bound longer. Therefore, we put skin in the game. And we also then need the insights to be actioned. I hear a lot in the industry, actionable insights. It still means you're just left with a register of things you could do or should do. My clients don't want that. They want it done. So again, with products like Invocara, we link into the BMS and we allow the decision to be made that we will do the first auto adjustment. We will then send somebody to do the next thing with a full, transparent, data attributable journey of what we've done and why. But it means it's done. And for that, you can see what was spent, it was fully justified, and it's built into the way we operate. And then the most important bit is access. Anytime, anywhere in the world, everyone needs to see what's going on. Everything from our folks in the van to management sat at home or on the other side of the planet, and our clients need that all the time. So our CSFs that come out of that is the impact on people. I reduce my churn. You want to come and work for CBRE because this is going to be a great digital experience. It means I will pay you more. It also means I charge less to the client. The client's personnel get a much easier way to interoperate with us and manage. And also there is this very much clear conscience because everyone's got one digital story. The best output is it's good for the planet. We don't end up with a Grenville. We don't end up burning energy where we don't need it. The introduction of the system gives us a baseline saving of 15% kWh against energy consumption in most buildings. The lower part may be 5%, the maximum part we've achieved is 40%. But by not focusing on the energy, we go to constant commissioning and thinking about people, we make the planet a better place. And as a byproduct for it all, we save money, we pay our people more, the client saves money, so it's win-win. Now, how do I get to the video? There it is. So ultimately this is what we're now giving to all of our people in the business, if it runs. Oh, let down by technology on a chat about technology, the irony. Hopefully that's giving it, I don't know if the chat can sort it out and get it running. All it does is it just shows you what we offer our people with the issues at the moment and why those four components, when we integrate them together through an EDP, is changing the way they work. And we're getting really great results on what we're hitting the market with. What I'll do is I'll escape and go back because I think they will need to move it on. But ultimately as a business, that's now us. We're still about people, but we're driving it with data. You know, really well put together data that changes it. There you go. And this is ultimately what we've offered our people. Thank you for the incredible team at the back. And that leaves us with those 6 headlines of what we're looking to do. The big one, coming to Bowler's point, is we need to convert all our folks to be digital natives. They need to understand the reason why we need them to manage and own that data, the importance of keeping it clean and structured. We connect them to their workplace and the workplace to our clients. We've got to operate at the highest standards, which we do, so we only work with the best-in-class products. Predictive services. we can't just keep doing things because it's in a book. We need to measure, as Drucker says, that is measured is managed, and therefore we can be much more efficient and productive. Our uptime assurance is keeping all of our clients' buildings up to operate for them 24/7 hours a day, no matter what. And a big one is the process implementation and reliability. That is all digitised. So therefore people are nudged, they're aided, they're informed of what they must do and why, and at any point they can access all the records that support their decisions. There we go, people. I will hand you over to the next speaker, which is going to be Claire.